You're not bad with women. You're just leaking attraction the moment you open your mouth. And you don't even realize it. Right now, you think you're doing the right thing. Being polite, being curious, asking questions. But every time you ask another one, her interest drops a little. How are you? What's your name? What do you do? Do you come here often? It sounds normal, it feels safe. And that's the problem. What she feels isn't connection. It's pressure. It's an interview. It's a man trying to earn access instead of owning space. She doesn't think, this guy is interested in me. She thinks, why is he trying so hard? So her guard goes up. Her answers get shorter. Her body turns away, and you start panicking. You ask more questions, you try to save it, but the damage is already done. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear. Women don't open up to questions, they open up to presence, to a man who speaks first, who isn't fishing for approval, who isn't hoping something lands. If you've ever walked away wondering, she seemed interested, then suddenly wasn't. This is why. And once you see it, you'll never talk to women the same way again. 1. Endless questions. You were taught this was good conversation. Ask, listen, ask again. But here's what's actually happening. Every question puts you lower, not because questions are bad, because you're using them to hide. When you ask question after question, you're not connecting. You're avoiding exposure. You're saying, without words, I don't want to risk saying something wrong. I need you to lead this. I hope one of these lands. She feels that immediately. So instead of relaxing, she braces. Because now she's carrying the conversation. And attraction doesn't grow there. Here's the belief that's killing you. If I keep her talking, she'll feel something. Modern dating doesn't work like that. Attention is cheap. Emotional leadership isn't. A woman doesn't bond with a man who extracts answers. She bonds with a man who creates direction. That's why interrogations fail. They feel needy without sounding needy. The shift is simple but uncomfortable. You stop hiding behind questions. You speak first, a statement, then a question. One sentence that shows you're here, you're grounded, you're not afraid of your own opinion. Now she's responding to you, not performing for you. And the moment she senses that, the dynamic changes. But this only works if you stop caring whether she agrees with you or not. That's where most men collapse, and that's what we're hitting next. 2. Approval addiction. Most men think attraction is fragile. Like one wrong sentence will shatter it. So they play it safe. They mirror, they agree, they soften everything they say, and then they wonder why nothing sparks. Here's the truth you don't want to hear. Trying to be liked makes you forgettable. When you ask questions without leading, you're not curious. You're seeking permission. Permission to stay. Permission to speak. Permission to matter. She feels that hunger instantly. And hunger repels. Modern women are flooded with attention. What they're starving for is certainty. A man who can say something and survive disagreement. When you share an opinion, you're not trying to impress her. You're revealing yourself. And that's what creates tension. You think disagreement kills attraction. In reality, fear of disagreement kills it faster. If she says she hates the place and you freeze, she loses interest. If she says she hates the place and you stay relaxed, she leans in. Not because you argued, because you didn't collapse. The behavioral shift is this. Stop calibrating every sentence for approval. Say what you feel. Let her react. Your job isn't to match her. It's to hold your own. That's what separates men she chats with from men she remembers. And once you realize you don't need agreement, you unlock something far more dangerous. playful tension. 3. Playful friction. Attraction isn't built on harmony. It's built on contrast. Most men think chemistry means saying the same things, liking the same things, agreeing on everything. That's comfort, not desire. When you disagree lightly, when you tease without apology, when you push without aggression, something shifts. She stops evaluating you. She starts engaging with you. This is where men freeze. She says something you don't agree with, and your brain screams, "Don't mess this up." So you retreat, you soften, you backpedal. That moment costs you more than rejection ever could. Playful friction isn't about being rude. It's about staying present. You don't defend, you don't convince, you don't justify. You stay relaxed, you smile, you lean in, you respond like a man who isn't afraid of a little tension. That's why a light challenge works. Not because of the words, because of the energy behind them. It signals confidence without effort, masculinity without force. The shift is subtle but powerful. You allow moments of disagreement to exist without fixing them. No panic, no explanation, no approval seeking. And the paradox? The less you try to smooth things over, the more she opens up. But this only works if you're not trying to impress her. Because the next mistake men make kills tension instantly. 4. Silent confidence. Some men think attraction comes from talking more, filling space, proving value, so they explain, they justify, they overshare, and the moment passes. Silence isn't awkward. Neediness is. When you make a statement and immediately rush to explain it, you signal doubt. Not in her, in yourself. A confident man lets his words land. He doesn't chase reactions. You say something. You pause. That pause does more than 10 follow-up sentences ever could. Modern dating rewards restraint. Attention spans are short. Presence stands out. When you stop trying to entertain her, she starts paying attention to you. This is why endless talking kills attraction. It removes mystery. It removes tension. The shift here is uncomfortable for most men. You stop filling silence. You let her respond in her own time. You let her lean forward. Because when you're comfortable with quiet, she feels safe to speak. And when she speaks by choice, not obligation, connection forms. But silence alone isn't enough. If you stay silent without direction, you become forgettable. That's where most men get confused. The next layer is knowing when to lead the moment forward. And that's where conversations start turning into something else. 5. Lead the frame. Most men think leading means talking more. It doesn't. It means setting tone, setting direction, setting pace. When you only react, you're inside her frame. When you speak first, you create one. This is why statements matter. They signal, I'm comfortable here. I belong in this moment. A man who feels welcome doesn't ask permission to exist. When you share a piece of your world, you invite her in. Not by pulling, by standing still. That's the difference. In modern dating, women aren't choosing the most impressive man. They're choosing the man who feels grounded. You don't need big stories. You don't need high energy. You need coherence. Your words match your body. Your pace matches your presence. The behavioral shift is simple. Stop trying to enter her world. Let her step into yours. One calm statement does that. One relaxed question invites her closer. Now she's participating, not being extracted from. And when she feels included, she invests. But leadership isn't about control. The moment you force it, attraction dies. Which brings us to the line most men cross without noticing. 6. Forced energy. You cross this line the moment you try to perform. Louder voice, bigger gestures, more enthusiasm than the moment requires. You think you're showing confidence. She feels pressure. Attraction doesn't grow under force. It suffocates. Modern women are hypersensitive to intent. They feel when a man is trying to make something happen. That's when resistance shows up. Short replies, delayed texts, excuses to leave, and you think it's random? It isn't. The belief that traps men here is this: if I don't push the moment forward, it will stall. So you push. You escalate too fast. You fill space that didn't need filling, and the moment collapses. Here's the counterintuitive truth. The man who feels least rushed is the man who goes the furthest. When you're calm, she relaxes. When you're relaxed, she opens. The shift is learning to trust momentum. You don't manufacture it. You notice it. You let her invest first. You let her curiosity show. Then you move. One step, not three. This patience signals abundance, not strategy. It says, I'm fine either way. And that emotional posture is what makes her lean in. But patience alone isn't the finish line. If you don't know how to recognize when she's already invested, you'll still miss your window. That's what we close with next. 7. Recognize investment. Most men miss the signals. She's leaning in, laughing at your jokes, asking questions without being prompted. And you don't notice. You keep performing, chasing, trying harder. Meanwhile, she's already curious, already interested, already invested. The tragedy is she's giving you every chance to lead the moment forward, and you're blind to it. Here's the hard truth. Women don't give second chances with attraction. If you fail to recognize her investment, you let it slip. The behavioral shift is simple. Stop overthinking her words. Watch her energy. Watch her choices. She laughs. She smiles. She mirrors. That's your cue. Not to push, not to plead, not to prove yourself, but to guide, to escalate naturally, to meet her curiosity with presence. Attraction is built in small exchanges, not rehearsed lines, not interrogations, not overcompensations, one shared laugh, one confident statement, one timely pause. That's the bridge from casual chat to desire. Miss it and she drifts. Notice it and she leans closer. And that awareness is the final piece most men never learn. 8. Own your value. By now it should be clear. Attraction isn't earned, it's revealed. You don't need to convince her. You don't need to chase approval. You don't need to perform. Every question, every over-explaining sentence, every fake agreement, it chips away at your presence. Women don't respond to words alone. They respond to men who know their worth. A man who owns his value doesn't panic, doesn't bend, doesn't apologize for being himself. He makes statements first. He sets the frame. He invites her in, not by trying to impress, by being clear, calm, and confident. When you combine presence, patience, and playful friction, you stop being one more guy asking questions. You become the guy she remembers, the guy she wants to engage with. This is where real attraction starts. Stop leaking value. Stop interrogating. Stop performing. Own your energy. Own your words. Own your space. Do that, and everything else falls into place. The way you talk, the way you hold your ground, the way you let her invest. All of it becomes magnetic. And that finally is how you stop being forgotten and start being wanted. Conclusion. Here's the truth. Attraction isn't about luck. It's about presence, confidence, knowing your own value. Stop interrogating. Stop over-explaining. Stop chasing approval. Lead with statements. Pause. Notice her investment. Playfully challenge when it matters. When you do this, women lean in. They respond. They invest. They're drawn to you. You're not guessing anymore. You're not hoping. You're in control. This is how conversations turn into connection, and connection turns into desire. Own it. Speak first. Hold your frame, and watch the difference.